let's get into this. So, I think it was like a week or so ago that I had this interaction with this this girl, and the core. This is the core video that started all. The problem is that it's muted, so I guess whatever she had said maybe wasn't so nice after all. Well, so we're starting off strong. Very animated though. So this was my this was my response video to that.
Did you forget that we figured out a way to use bone marrow to reproduce? We can literally use bone marrow out of our women bodies and reproduce.
I see where this is
You're
going.
canceled, eliminated.
So just do it already. Just kill us, honestly.
Oh, okay. Well, that was annoying.
Please kill us. If you're so confident in the bone marrow study, just kill us all right now. Bye-bye. And then when it doesn't work out and the babies come out looking like you're going to go back and go, oh, you know what? We're going to have a bunch of gay guys impregnate us. And then could you just imagine how terrible it would be to be a woman who's sleeping with somebody who is just completely fundamentally unattractive to them? Imagine how depressed all you women will be once you lack validation from men. And the same would go for men too. The difference is that we're aware that we need women and we don't need to push some kind of a false power narrative to make ourselves feel better because we don't have the motivation to better ourselves on an individual basis. So good luck. Hopefully I'm dead soon because of your new world order, and Papa bless. Mwah.
So clearly, she was talking about the kill all men narrative and the whole bone marrow baby study, and like this is such a tired thing, but it's like so silly because they project it as like a joke, but they take it and then when you call them out, they turn it into like a justifier for a joke, which is just really just like a stupid anti-male narrative. And so the whole point that I was making is like, so do it, because like the reality is, even if bone marrow babies worked, which they don't, even if they work, most people are so reliant on the opposite gender, we'll say, for validation that like it doesn't matter. Men and women need each other. They need to validate each other through many things. Validation comes through relationships, it comes through sexual intercourse. It exists. And this is such a boring, tired argument that this person brought up. So then this is, I think this is their response.
So just do it already. Just kill us.
So just kill us. That was my whole point too. Let's just kill us and see how bad it goes.
Honestly, please kill us. If you're so confident in the bone marrow study, just kill us all right now. Bye-bye. And then when it doesn't work out and the babies come out looking like you're going to go back and go, oh, you know what? We're going to...
That one's a little mean. I was like, oh, the baby looks like you. I mean, that was the joke that they come out looking a little deranged, and like that was just a silly, funny shot, you know. But it's a little mean.
Gonna have a bunch of gay guys impregnate.
Hi, so sorry to cut you off. So I noticed your video wasn't able to be saved, so I just went ahead and screen recorded it so I could...
Yeah, I don't know why my videos can't get saved, just to bring that up. If for some reason TikTok has them removed, I don't know why.
Respond. First things first, when women say kill all
but she could have just duetted me, and like she wouldn't have had to play 15 seconds of my clip.
men, we don't actually want to kill all men. We say it as a joke and a coping mechanism to...
So, like, the whole joke, here's the problem with the kill all men as a joke, is they, and this is a point that Gabby had made, is they spend so much time justifying the joke. That, like, it ruins the joke. You take, you know, you'll say, oh, kill all men, and then you'll sit here for 15 minutes and tell us why it's okay for us to be hateful. But then if we say kill all women, it's like, no, that's not a joke. And it's like, they're both stupid. And you're trying to justify the narrative, but it's like hateful, the perceived oppressor narrative that's just trying to flip the script and make men feel like crap when you felt like crap. So it's not just a joke.
Deal with the ongoing abuse, harassment, rape, and oppression that men put upon us.
See, here's the thing: is like this whole thing that the victim complex. There are absolutely issues for women. Women are marginalized, right? The power dynamic between men and women shifts more in favor of the male, of men. But this is a very new age narrative that women are hyper oppressed, and people are so heavily identifying with this hyper oppression narrative. And I guarantee you, most of the oppression that people in general are feeling nowadays is economic oppression, and it's making you, since you're not thinking about it like that, since you're so ingrained in the system, and you think that it's so acceptable to be beaten down by our current societal constructs, you blame every other way that you feel marginalized on it. But it's not. It's over-identification with identity groups. That's what people do all the time nowadays. It doesn't matter what group you are. That's what they do. And reversing that oppression, or trying to, is not the way to solve it.
And second thing second about the baby coming out and looking like me, I have no problem with that because I think I'm very beautiful. But if you don't...
just to her point, the baby would look like her technically because it's like you would use your own DNA. So she could have flipped that around if she was clever enough for that.
Don't agree with me, that's okay. And for that third part about the gay men impregnating us, they would have no problem doing so if that means getting rid of straight men who have oppressed them for so long as well.
So again, we spent so much time talking about the justifiers for the kill all men narrative, and now she brought it around from like, oh, it's not just now you're saying that gay men will be fine relegating their entire life's responsibility to impregnating women. And I want to explain this because it's very, if we're going to continue the joke, if we got rid of all straight men and all that was left was gay men, you got to think about this. Based on the proportionality of gay men to everyone else, there would be to be a very large portion of men, the gay men left, sitting there and making their sole existence impregnation of other people. And that would be a very belittling task for people, right? That would be boiling down their entire life's existence to basically being a sperm donor. And that's really messed up. And that, I know it's so silly, but like that honestly is basically you're reversing the oppression onto gay men. So yeah, it was a bad point. So that was her take. Here's my next take.
It's an unfortunate situation, but
okay. So then she had made this point afterwards because she was upset.
So it has come to my attention that straight TikTok has got a hold of my TikToks.
The only reason that I brought this up is the straight
It's an unfortunate
TikTok.
situation.
It's the straight TikToks come here. I hate it when people make these arguments like, oh, here's straight TikTok, like she's on gay TikTok and she's like, oh, here's straight TikTok, and like that's her insult is that I'm straight, and like I could go into the fact that like I'm not really fully straight, but like that's an insult to people is like straight TikToks found us. Imagine if people were like, oh, here's gay TikTok. Ew, yuck. That's messed up. Again, it's just a constant mental gymnastics on justifying being hateful towards another group of people that you perceive as your oppressor.
But we'll survive. I find it funny, though, how a lot of the men that are coming at me and the women that are agreeing with
and they
me...
focus on her looks. That's what she goes on to. It's very boring. I just wanted to make that point based on that.
Yes. Listen.
So here is my response to that.
Somebody took my pee-pee tip off when I was a baby without
This is a joke response to her thing.
my consent. I'd say that myself and all circumcised men actually are a victim of oppression. Where's my memorial? Where's my kill-all doctors? Where's the kill-all moms?
So I made a point that was like, when you're circumcised, honestly though, we don't really think about it, but it's kind of true. When you're circumcised, a part of your body is removed without your consent. Now, we could justify and say it's cleaner, whatever. But it's still really messed up that they just take you and they snip it. And there have been studies that actually show that like circumcision causes long-term, like very, very heavily ingrained trauma and PTSD for men. There's studies that really do start suggesting that. And it's so normal to us that we don't really care. But like it's kind of true. And if we're going to play this oppression thing, like a lot of men experience this. It's really messed up. It kind of beats the crap out of you. So I made that joking point, and then I said, oh, why don't we kill all moms, right? Because moms are the ones who ultimately choose it, and we have a disproportionate single motherhood rate, and it was like a joke. But that's a real joke. Well, I mean, there's a level of truth to it, too, although I guess most jokes have that, but...
I mean, we have a really high single motherhood rate, so most moms are the ones who make the decision to cut my pee-pee tip off, no? So actually, maybe we really need to kill all women. Oh, no, don't worry, it's just a joke. Also, you missed the whole part where
that was funny.
I was like, yeah, you need male validation. Women in general need male validation the same way men need female validation. You said it was a joke and then justified it by saying gay people would perpetuate existence. But they're not interested in you. What, are you trying to shame them into wanting to fuck you? Sounds very indicative of culture, man. Not very good. Okay.
So clearly I was pushing further with the narrative of like, oh, if only gay people were left, then you would be forcing them to engage with intercourse with you. And that would be very toxic for them because that is indicative of some kind of sexual assault culture. Right? So far, same points from this person. I've been making new points. But yeah, let's keep going here. So this is a video of me twerking to her song. So she made a point, and by the way, the song is good. I'm gonna give her credit. Like, she actually has decent music. But she made a point where like that women don't need male validation, and I don't remember where, but yeah, she made that point, and then I was like, oh, okay. And her whole song is about engaging with men sexually, which is a validating thing. And so I danced to her song.
Like a grown ass
It's a
man
decent
with
song
a big
again.
dick, 6'2", make me put it on him real quick, real shit. All these other
Just built different, guys. If you see, I get like a little belly slip right down here. You see that? All right, so now
make me put
so she's reacting to me twerking. By the way, pro gamer moment.
it on him real quick, real shit. All these other bitches trying to feel this, but he know that there ain't nothing like fucking.
What? A woman who advocates for kill all men made a song sexually about a man? Oh my god. As
She clearly missed the point of the
stated
song.
in my last response to you, when we say kill all men, we don't actually want to kill all men. It's a coping mechanism.
Again, more of I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. Same points over and over again, even though I just called her out on the validation factor and that she couldn't exist without men.
With the trauma
Because they're not interested in her.
that men leave upon
Her whole life kind of centralizes around this type of stuff.
us.
She has a phonely hands, I'm just saying.
There's a fine line between men who actually respect women and men like you who like to keep us boxed in within your standards.
So that's a baseless point. So her argument was because I called out the kill all men narrative that I'm an oppressor. That's what she just said. So she's weaponizing oppression now. I'm the oppressor because I don't agree with her. And that's a very toxic, dangerous mentality to have. It may be one of the most toxic things she said. It's very subtle, and you may not think that. But what she's saying is if you don't agree with her, if you don't agree that kill all men is okay, then you're a fundamentally bad person and you're an oppressor. That's what she just said. That's really toxic and dangerous.
When I write songs like that, it's directed towards the men that respect women, not men like you.
Again, like, I respect women. Because I don't necessarily respect you doesn't mean that I don't respect women. And I wouldn't even say I've been disrespectful towards you. I've been just calling out your BS narrative.
As stated
Although I made a funny joke before, maybe that.
in the verse that we all just heard, it says nothing like a grown-ass man. When it comes to men, that's what I'm attracted to. Grown-ass men. And if you're like, okay, well, what's a grown-ass man? Men who respect women's rights and women's viewpoints and women's freedom and don't sit here all day and duet them and tear them down. Thanks for another view on my song and shaking your ass too.
Oh, by the way, so like again, I'm tearing her down because I don't agree with her. That's her whole argument. So she has magical body armor that allows her to say and do whatever she wants. This is her argument. And if anybody contests that, then they are disrespectful, they're misogynistic pigs. That's her argument. And like that's her thing. She doesn't understand that respect is a two-way street. This is a very childish mentality from her, honestly. And to the other point that she made,
Good though, you're thick as fuck.
I forget what the hell was the other point that she had made. I don't know. She called me thick though, so that's nice. I forgot the last thing that she had said, but I appreciate the comment that I am thick. I am pretty thick. I twerk real nice, you know. So yeah. So let's see. What was next? Me?
And are in the foster care system.
Oh, so the pretext here is that she made a video. This is what happened. She had made a video. She removed it in like 7 minutes. Not even. I saw it immediately. I downloaded it. I reacted to it. She deleted it, so I got rid of mine because I was like, it was probably it was a genuinely really destructive, horrible, bad take from her, and it really was very uncomfortable. I didn't put it up because like she took it down again, but then after she annoyed me, I decided to put it back up.
Homes and are being oppressed and abused as we speak. There's so many.
You just said in the
So basically, what she just said, for you, those of you who didn't see the video because it's gone, she basically just said that it would be okay to kill all men because we have so many people in the foster care system. Another way of overly rationalizing a joke. It's just a joke, right? And yet the 95% of her argument is rationalizing something that's a joke. If it was just a joke, then you should have been like, it's just a joke. Get over it, nerd. And then I got nothing because it was just a joke. But this joke has a justifier of there's too many men. Men are really toxic. Everyone's an oppressor who doesn't agree with me. And there's lots of kids in the foster care system. And that bothers me because now she's weaponizing real abuse, or rather just a really bad foster care system that like beats down people. And my understanding is she might be from that. And I don't know why she would weaponize that and diminish foster kids' struggles by trying to rope it in with the kill all men narrative.
This video is incredibly toxic and harmful and very ignorant, and I'm going to explain to you why. First and foremost, you're still perpetuating the kill all men narrative, and your current justification is, well, we have so many people in the foster care system, so a bunch of men dying would be irrelevant. The problem is killing half the population reduces tax dollars, which would reduce the funding for these
I
foster
know I'm going into it very in-depth, but like that's what they're doing. She has made it a very real scenario, so I'm going to make it a real one back.
kids, and it would also lead to an aging population, which would mean we can't take care of our elderly. But the bigger issue that I have with your very flawed logic is that, again, you're promoting the kill all men narrative off of the backs of suffering
from foster care kids. And for somebody who is so very connected to the suffering of women, why is it that you are so comfortable with weaponizing the suffering of foster kids? It's a really bad take. But hey, it's all just a joke, right?
All just a joke. So yeah, that's very clear what I meant there in my video. Let's see what her response is.
Because you're clearly lacking the ability to comprehend.
So I don't remember what else she had put in there. I guess I didn't find the video, but here she continues the argument, so I ended here. Well, what's
going on? You made a stupid joke about killing all men and bone
So this is just me recontextualizing the argument.
marrow babies. I said bone marrow babies don't work, and women need male validation just like men need female validation. You got upset, turned it into a victim complex. I told you that women aren't as oppressed as you want them to be because you're really just perpetuating a victim mentality. Because
And like I want to reiterate that point is that like there is oppression. Again, the power dynamic between men and women favors men, but the oppression is not this. Women are not hyper oppressed. If they're oppressed in any capacity, it's pure. It's like a heavily economic oppression.
you personally are inequitable. Then you went off about the
Which nobody but me really talks about on TikTok. I'm like really the only one who talks about economic oppression, honestly,
foster care
and like reversing it.
System and how it's okay to say kill all men because we have so many kids in the foster care system that it would be a good thing. That was the point you made. That's why you deleted the video, because you realize how fucking stupid it was. And it really just comes down to you not understanding that you are so hell-bent on pushing a narrative that you're a victim that you specifically will never not be a victim, because you lack the ability to change. You lack personal accountability, and you really don't care about women's issues. You're somebody who blankly stares into the camera, speaks with a monotone, and thinks she's intelligent. And you're ignorant enough to believe it.
That was a dig. So yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Ability to comprehend what's
And then this is her reaction to my video.
going on. You made a stupid joke about killing all men and bone marrow babies. I said bone marrow babies don't work, and women need male validation just like men need female validation. You got upset, turned it into a victim complex. I told you that women aren't as oppressed as you want them to be because you're really just perpetuating a victim mentality.
It's very blatant that it's very hard for you to put your fragile masculinity to the side and actually listen to what a woman is telling you.
So first of all, she just said that I have a hard time putting my fragile masculinity aside and listening to women. It's just emphatically incorrect. I was raised by a single mom with a mostly female structure. I have no problem listening to women. I don't like toxicity, which you are promoting, and you happen to be a woman. You're hiding behind your identity. You're not taking accountability for your hatred because you feel that being a woman gives you body armor. That is a privilege that you have, because people still agree with you despite the fact that you are so very, very wrong and so very, very ignorant. So like, there's a level of irony here, no? That I, a man who traditionally is not oppressed in society, have to go through great lengths to convince you that you're ignorant because you're being ignorant, and you can just be like, well, I'm a woman, so everything that you say is poopy. That's your whole argument. That's what it boils down to, and it's kind of pathetic.
Women do not play the victims. We are the victims. But
Women, listen, no, women don't play the victim. People in general nowadays are playing victims. Identity groups have been playing the victims, and even non-identity groups, even like straight white cisgender men have been being victims as well. I hate the victim complex, and I call it out all around. But again, I'm reiterating the point. Women aren't as oppressed as she wants them to believe that they are.
But I understand that's hard for you to comprehend because you are not a woman. As a straight white man, you are the last person it would be up to decide if women are playing victim or not.
No, it's not. I'm part of society. We can all have a conversation about victimhood. And I would argue that the reason why people are victimizing themselves nowadays, not just women, is because of a lack of masculine love in life. We lack masculine love because fathers, the previous generation of fathers, have left, and we're just dog shit. And here we are now, right? You can blame everything on men. If you're smart enough, you can root it back to bad fathers. That's what I would do, because I think that we had a horrible generation of pathetic fathers before my generation, like my father, pathetic loser. And you could have rooted it back to men, and I wouldn't have had an argument. But you couldn't, because you don't think critically enough about what you're saying to understand the actual logic behind it.
This whole entire country, the law enforcement...
Oh, and again, this is like the 5th video where she said the exact same thing over and over again.
It runs, and the government is all built around keeping straight white men comfortable. So it's very predictable that you would be very
Maybe that point's kind of valid, but
uncomfortable by the things that I post.
And I'm not uncomfortable by kill all men. It's just annoying, and it's pathetic. I'm uncomfortable with the fact that it's acceptable, it's socially acceptable to promote kill all men with no accountability. And I am the accountability.
For the last time, kill all men doesn't actually mean kill all men. There's a lot of men
Again, lastly, kill all men doesn't mean kill all. So then why you're spending so much time explaining to me why it doesn't mean what you say it means?
that I think benefit society.
Because, by the way, if your argument is kill all men only applies to the bad men, then that means that when men say women are all dishwashers, that only applies to the bad women. The logical rule set doesn't hold up.
So if you
Doesn't.
get offended by what I say, the shoe fits.
Probably doesn't. I have very big feet. So here's my response, and I'm going to pretext this by saying it's much more aggressive than I wanted it to be. I was having a little bit of a stressful week, to be honest with you. I was ending my job soon. I wasn't really sleeping. I know I'm playing like a little bit of victim complex here. I'm not trying to, but it was more aggressive than I wanted it to be. The general points are still there, but you know, not normal Papa.
Suck.
The first thing I say is I suck at this because I like feminine men. I'm attracted to femininity. I'm attracted to feminine men.
I am not a straight man. I have
And I said that because she was like, "You're a straight white man," and I was like, "Oh, not really."
2 partners. You're not a victim. You're pathetic.
A little mean, but again, she's victimizing herself.
Shut up
By the way, the first thing I said in this video was, "This is it. This is the last."
and stop pretending that you're smart because you literally exist to victimize yourself. Your fundamental lack of equity because you decided to pursue a non-career is not my
So I made a point that she has a lack of equity because she decided not to pursue a career, and that was my dig. That's a big problem. A lot of people, doesn't matter what you are, doesn't matter what your victim or your identity group is, rather, a ton of people play the victim because they don't want to push for equity in their life. And there is absolutely an economic factor. I'm not going to deny that. I fight to reverse economic oppression. But there are so many people who are not trying to better themselves and make themselves equitable, and those are the people who speak the loudest about how oppressed they are. This woman, all right, she does music, which is great. She should. I think her music is good. But you need to have a realistic day job. She does OnlyFans, and that's fine. But if that's all you do, short-term non-growth and risking everything on a dream, that's why you're upset and you feel frustrated by everything going on in life, because you're not pushing to better yourself. That's the problem. And it's always these types of people who are unequitable and don't have a future thought, who aren't thinking about the future, who aren't thinking financially about financial stability. Those are the people who cry the loudest about how oppressed they are.
fault. Better yourself as a person and stop telling the whole world that you're a victim, because it's the absolute reason why you will accomplish nothing in life. You are pathetic. Everything is a sob story. What's your struggle? Getting tattoos that make it so you're unemployable? You don't know what I've been through, and you don't know what my partners have been through. A day in our lives would be catastrophic to your absolutely mentally fragile mind.
Listen, right there, that was like, I mean, I'm a little pathetic for that point, right? I don't like to promote myself as like a victim, and I kind of like said, like, you know, I was struggling, right? So I pushed that too far. That was too much. That was a little pathetic on my part. I gotta take accountability for that because I hate that. I very much like to try to keep my issues out of the limelight, because I don't think that that's a good way to do things. You shouldn't be promoting and advocating for your issues, and that's what I did there. And I'm very much ashamed of myself for it. I have struggled. My partners have struggled as well, but not something that other people really need to know about.
You're a nothing and a nobody. Please stop, because you're just embarrassing yourself the more and more you go on. You've made 5 videos saying the same thing. I've made 5 videos making you look dumb with new points. Please, I promoted your song. Take that payment and fuck off. Here's the problem with your logic, and we'll just end it here.
Right, so here's the problem with the logic. End here. This is the video where I said, this is it. Last video, it was mean. There were parts of it I didn't like. I pointed that out here. But I want to, I'm being very specific about how I said this is the last interaction that I'm having, specifically because after this, she decided to make a video that was like, this is my last interaction. It's like, yeah, I just did that. And she's trying to make it seem like I'm still going.
Messages that are like, hey, can we...
So here we go.
As for the ongoing dispute, I'm gonna go ahead and just sit back now. If he wants to keep going, he...
Again, like, this is like, I'm the bigger person. I'm going to sit back. I wasn't saying I'm going to sit back and stop because I'm trying to be the bigger person. I just don't want to engage anymore. Because I said everything I had to say, and she's very ignorant and won't listen. And then she's just like, I'm just going to sit back. I'm the bigger person. It's like, dude, shut up. That's your last point?
Can keep going for him and his followers, but I'm very tired at this point. I want to go to bed, and I'm getting a lot of messages that are like, hey, can we just get back to a positive vibe and go back to your regular video? So, you know, I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to make my page all about arguing with people, so I'm gonna just go ahead and chill now.
Ironically, she doesn't want to make her. This is what they said. Her followers said they wanted more positivity, and she doesn't want to make her page about arguing while she promotes a kill all men narrative. That is not positive, and that is argumentative. So, what are you talking about? You literally asked for this engagement to happen. You just didn't expect somebody to, like, really dig you on it. And that's what I did. You're not somebody who promotes positivity. You're somebody who promotes negativity and argumentativeness. And because it is politically correct and socially acceptable to hate people who you perceive as the oppressors, you get away with it. And you didn't this time.
You know, he's gonna feel how he's gonna feel, I'm gonna feel how I'm gonna feel, and that's it.
Yeah,
But
good point, though. I'm going to feel how I'm going to feel. She's going to feel how she feels. That's very true. Difference is I can advocate for my feelings in a very intelligent way.
thanks for tuning in, everyone. It was fun.
That was a good end to my stream right there, huh? So, yeah, that's the whole argument that I had with my births are better. Your mama's breasts stank.